Tonight, back on track, the decommissioned rail line between Lee Creek and Port Augusta to churn back to life. But when? And Bowman Park's new bike trails open in Crystal Brook as part of Port Pirie's Kidtober's seemingly endless list of activities.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. The Lee Creek to Port Augusta railway line is set to roar back to life in the not too distant future. The state government has granted New Riser exclusive access to the line as they investigate using the tracks as part of the $4.3 billion urea project.
For 5 years, it's laid virtually dormant. The Lee Creek to Port Augusta railway line hasn't been in regular use since Flinders Power axed coal trains in 2017. Management handed back to the state government. But the rumble of locomotives could return, as New Riser is undertaking a 6-month investigation into reopening it for the massive $4.3 billion urea project at Lee Creek.
Once we provide the business case to the government and give them a little time to assess the implications and the opportunities, we'll then go back in and have a further discussion with the government about use of the line.
Production is scheduled for 2025, with rail offering more exporting, especially through Spencer Gulf ports.
We'd rather not use the big semi-trailers. We'd rather use the rail line. It's more efficient and it's safer and just better for everyone if we use the rail line.
Port Augusta City Councillor John Naisbitt is hopeful the reopening will have a positive impact.
You'll have at both ends. You'll have Port Augusta, you'll have the port area. Hopefully it'll go through there, because the fellow that's doing the ports, he wants other consumables to go through there as well, not just the iron ore. He would like to see grain and whatever.
New Riser's proposal is welcome news for Port Augusta, but don't hold out for passenger services returning to the region anytime soon. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Homebound highway commuters were caught up in a traffic standstill last night, with emergency services temporarily closing a section of the Lincoln Highway. At 3:45, a fire engulfed a car at Coltana, almost exactly halfway between Whyalla and Port Augusta. The occupant of the car managed to escape the blaze, which was then extinguished by Middleback and Stirling North CFS crews. Road restrictions were implemented by SAPOL, closing both lanes of the highway and creating a large backlog of waiting cars. Those unable to wait opting to travel by the adjacent old pipeline dirt track. The highway was partially reopened at 5:15, with traffic today once again flowing smoothly. 2022 has already been labelled as the worst year for drownings since 1996. Recent data shows that 339 drownings have occurred across Australia this year, with 17 of those deaths being children under the age of 4. Off the back of National Learn to Swim Week, ambassadors are continuing to stress the importance of teaching children how to swim. Kids Alive says 2.7 million Australians live in a home with a swimming pool, so ensuring children are equipped to save themselves in case of an accident is vital. Port Pirie's Kidtober just keeps pulling out all the exciting events. Today was no different, with the opening of the new bike trails at Bowman Park. Kids, big and small, enjoying the new surroundings and, of course, having plenty of fun.
Known for its picturesque views, Bowman Park is the perfect location for the whole family, and is now even better with the addition of bike trails.
It's good exercise and it's fun to do, so it's exercise you can do for fun.
Kids of all ages enjoyed a day out to celebrate the opening of the trails.
There's a lot of park that people didn't even know existed, so getting people across the bridge and actually to go across around the amphitheatre gets people out to see the whole park.
The nature playground proving popular among the younger ones. But the community felt the older kids were missing out. So the Bowman Park community joined forces and received federal funding to build the bike trails.
Something that people of all ages can access, especially that older demographic, especially our older, teenagers that would love to get out and outside and moving around.
The opening day was a great opportunity to gain awareness about the park and what it has to offer.
It creates that sense of community. Like today's, definitely you can see that there's lots of people coming together.
The public are pleased these big, beautiful open spaces are finally being utilised. And being the school holidays, it's the perfect time to come check them out. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, Do Emu. Fresh posters plastered around Port Augusta to help kids become more independent. And the beachside Spencer Golf Town draws a crowd for a local market day. Welcome back. If you're an experienced cyclist or have been wanting to give it a try, then this is the weekend for you. The streets of Moonta and Wallaroo will look a little different tomorrow as the Copper Coast Cycling Cup kicks off. It's the perfect weekend to spectate some racing and immerse yourself in the Copper Coast culture. And while you're there, be sure to check out the Copper Coast Trails Bike Hire, who have recently been nominated for the Experiences and Services category at the Australian Tourism Awards. A new campaign aimed at children and their parents has been launched in Port Augusta to improve child development. The Do Emu campaign has been months in the making and is supported by the City Council and Uniting Country SA.
The blank wall on the side of Port Augusta's Woolworths has been upgraded, with several huge posters featuring an equally huge emu. Do Emu is a campaign to encourage kids to learn those little life skills that add up.
If you're able to eat a healthy lunch, like if you know how to open your banana without help, it gives you more confidence. You don't need others to sort of do those little tasks for you. If you can get your lunchbox open, because some of those are a real trick.
The location, directly in front of the Big W entrance, will allow anyone passing through to notice the posters and become aware of the campaign, especially as the school holidays are underway.
Being able to get the common messaging and to make it look more vibrant. It's just a good place for families to sort of notice it.
Port Augusta Mayor Brett Bembo officially launched the campaign, with Mr Do Emu attending, to the delight of children.
Dan, this started about 2 years ago, maybe a bit longer, and that's the sort of process that goes through to make sure the outcome's a good outcome for all involved. So, and it's important, our youth are our future, so they're the ones that we need to look after and nurture.
And Do Emu isn't finished teaching kids literacy and learning.
I think he's going to a cardboard box car rally. I think he's got his own special car. Have to confirm that, but could be a bit interesting. That's a big car for a big emu.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Who doesn't love a stroll around a market on a weekend? While taste testing some of what the Spencer Golf has to offer. The Port Broughton Seaside Markets is a place you can do just that. The most recent event has been deemed a great success. Council is already thinking about hosting another one.
Crowds flocked to the shore of Port Broughton, making the most of the sunshine and the long weekend. Whether that involved getting a bargain, picnicking, sightseeing, or a combination of all three.
The foreshore in Port Broughton was packed. We had people coming from Port Pirie and Kadina and all over the place, as far as Broken Hill.
From the young and the old, there was a stall for everyone, including the four-legged furry friends. Locals and tourists exploring the 50+ stalls on offer.
We had crafts, we had food products, we had clothing, fashion, jewellery, everything was done at the foreshore.
Not only is the event an opportunity for locals to showcase their products, but it is an incentive for people to visit rural towns and appreciate the many sites and activities they have to offer.
Something that Council's really keen on doing more of to get more people to enjoy our wonderful foreshore.
Markets are constantly taking place throughout the Spencer Gulf. To stay up to date, be sure to follow Council's Facebook pages. If you have a creative flair or a side hustle, contact your local market to book a stall and make some extra cash. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Tomorrow is Love Your Bookshop Day, and a Broken Hill bookstore is getting into the spirit. Big Sky Stories have lots of fun things planned for the day. It all starts at 10 a.m. with a community-run workshop about world languages and cultures. And then at 11:30, a poetry workshop will be run by Louise Moriarty. The annual event is a celebration of all things bookstores and gives a pat on the back to all the hard-working staff. Stay with us after the break. Agricultural pests. Spencer Gulf locals to be on the lookout for a particular type of flying insect. And with the weather warming up, snakes are coming out. What to do if you find a slithery reptile in your home. Welcome back. Our region is being advised to keep an eye out for the highly destructive Australian plague locusts. PIRSA says after conducting surveillance in autumn, they're anticipating higher numbers of banding locusts and hatchings in the far and mid-north. The locust is a significant agricultural pest that can infest large areas and produce several generations of offspring in a single year. To more accurately gauge the spring locust population, the department is calling on locals who see the insect to call the Emergency Disease Hotline. A local community radio station that broadcasts across far west New South Wales is in the running to win some national awards. 2 Dry FM in Broken Hill has been nominated in multiple categories by the Community Broadcasting Association of Australia.
Ready to scoop up some awards, adding to the collection they already have. Not bad for a little radio station in the outback.
We are actually finalists, so the finalists for the Community Broadcasting Association of Australia annual awards came out maybe a month ago.
Shortlisted in 2 categories, 2 Dry FM might need to find a bigger trophy cabinet.
We're finalists, so we're shortlisted for Best New Program for our Out in the Outback program and also for Outstanding Small Station.
Back in 2018, 2 Dry FM took home the title of Outstanding Small Station at the South Australian Community Broadcasting Awards, also known as the Bilbies. But the station is yet to get over the line at the CBAAs. Fingers crossed they win it this year.
We've been finalists for Outstanding Small Station before at the CBAA. That was in 2019. So hopefully we've had a bit more happening this year. So, fingers crossed on that one.
After 5 years in community broadcasting, Megan became the station manager this year and has welcomed the challenge.
It's a big new responsibility and it's a new role for me to move into management. I'd previously just been in broadcasting.
If you're ever in the West, tune into 107.7 or stream online. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Wildlife professionals across the Spencer Gulf are warning locals that snake season has indeed started. The warmer weather encouraging the snakes to slither out of their hiding spots, looking for food and to reproduce.
Watch where you step because snake season is upon us. With the spring weather starting to warm up, Spencer Gulf residents are spotting more of the reptiles on their properties, sometimes a little too close for comfort.
Sunny baby. Come on. Go, little one.
Snake catchers from across the region reporting an increase in call-outs this month.
Stay away from it. Keep their eyes on it, but stay away. Get your pets out inside or just out of the way.
Prompting the Department for Environment and Water to advise property owners to clear debris and plant waste away from their homes. And as we head into summer, residents are being advised to keep their grass cut short to eliminate any potential hiding spots for snakes.
Clean your yard up, get the tin up, get the mulch out of the way, and you really don't give them anywhere to hide.
The most common type of snakes around the Spencer Gulf are common and king browns, death adders and occasionally red belly black snakes. If you happen to come across one of these, make sure to call your city's animal management staff for assistance. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. After the break, Broken Hill residents to hold a memorial service for miners who have lost their lives on the job. And we'll have the weekend weather details and a recap of today's temperatures with Alex Sykes. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf News. Community leaders, along with locals, will gather in Broken Hill tomorrow to honour all those who have been killed in our mines. Usually held at Line of Load, tomorrow's service has been shifted to the Trades Hall instead.
Tomorrow is a special day in the Silver City. It's a day to honour those who have lost their lives in the mines, as well as acknowledging those who have died from mining-related injuries or mining-related diseases.
Over 800 miners lost their lives on the line of load. That led to all sorts of industrial concessions. We ended up with a 35-hour week.
For Tom Kennedy, it will be his first ceremony as mayor after being elected in December of last year.
Look, it's just such an honour to be the mayor, and it's such an honour to preside or be at such an important event.
Council doesn't just honour those who have lost their lives in the mines one day a year, but rather at every council meeting, as mining is woven into the fabric of the city.
As a council, we've just recently had an acknowledgement to miners added to our opening of the council meeting.
For the first time in the event's history, it will take place at the Trades Hall, as construction work is currently happening up on the line of load.
Yes, this will be a one-off. So the Miners' Memorial is an important memorial, and that's where people actually go to remember those that have lost their lives on our line of load.
The ceremony starts at 11 a.m. this Saturday, with Greg Byers as the guest speaker and the Barrier Industrial Union Band playing.
What it is, it's a solemn day, a lot of history is given, a lot of reflection. When you remember, you really need to reflect on what some of these people went through.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it certainly wasn't as warm today as it was yesterday.
You're absolutely right, Maddie. Port Augusta was a full 10 degrees cooler today. 21.3 is the official reading compared to 31.3 on Thursday. Elsewhere, there was an even bigger difference between yesterday and today's temperatures. In Whyalla, 17 degrees was the maximum today compared to 29 yesterday. And in Port Pirie, 20 was the top recorded temperature compared to almost 8 yesterday. So quite a few big differences. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, Broken Hill recorded 23 today, 17 in Port Lincoln and Adelaide, 18 in Kadina, 22 up in Cooper Pedy. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a high pressure system will move across South Australia over the weekend. A low pressure trough will move across the far west of South Australia on Monday, then over remaining parts on Tuesday and Wednesday, as a slow moving low pressure system moves across waters well south of the continent. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots in the afternoon and early evening, tending south to southeasterly below 10 knots in the evening. Seas around 1 metre, south to southwesterly swell 1 to 1.5 metres. Partly cloudy and 16 degrees in Port Lincoln, down to 8 degrees tonight. 16 in Cleve tomorrow as well. Partly cloudy, 18 in Woodna. Partly cloudy in Whyalla, between 8 and 17 degrees on Saturday. Port Augusta heading for a top of 18 degrees. Partly cloudy and 17 in Kadina. Port Pirie 18 degrees tomorrow, between 5 and 13 in Clare, and mostly sunny in Broken Hill for the Miners' Memorial Service, heading for a top of 17 degrees with southerly winds becoming light in the evening. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Sunday, and the sun will be shining for at least part of the day. Partly cloudy in Broken Hill and Port Lincoln, both heading for 17 degrees. Blue skies in Wowler 19, sunny in Port Augusta 22, and the Bureau says it will be a cold morning with areas of frost around Port Pirie, warming up to a sunny top of 20 degrees. Moving on to Monday's outlook now, and it's looking like it'll be a warm start to the week. 27 degrees in Woodner, 26 in Port Augusta, 25 with partly cloudy conditions in Wowler and Port Pirie. Getting cooler the further south we go, 23 in Kadina, 22 in Port Lincoln. The humidity will hang around into Tuesday with showers across most of the region. Drizzly around Port Augusta, 28, 27 in Wowler and Port Pirie. And that's all the weather from me for tonight, Maddie. I'll see you soon with an update. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Friday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks so much for joining us. I'll have updates a little later. But until then, enjoy your evening and your weekend. Good night.